Hey everyone, so I've got Miss Basil up on the table here. She hasn't been groomed in about probably 5 weeks. She's pretty woolly right now. Last time I trimmed her up, I did trim up quite a bit off her featherings, just because she had a litter of puppies, and they're about just over 3 weeks old now. So now we're going to start getting this coat back into condition. I want her looking the way she did before. So I'm going to go over some of the techniques and tools that I use that I've found that have been successful for me and have worked well on her coat. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so on Basil, I use a number of tools to work on her jacket. I know there's a lot of controversy over using Coat King on the jacket of a hand strip dog. You know what, I was shown by a long time owner, breeder, handler of Irish setters. She used Coat King on some of her dogs. I tried it. I use it to take out the bulk, especially if she's got a lot come out, which now she does have quite a bit come out. Some people don't agree with it. They don't like it. That's fine. I use the Coat King to start out with, and then I use a combination of stripping knives, and I also use a stone. I find the stone works really nice on her. So I'm just going to start just pulling on her jacket. And again, there are some that don't agree with it, and that's cool. You know, each to their own. But I know, you know, this has worked very well on her jacket, just to remove the bulk. And the other nice thing is it does help save on fatigue on your wrist. Okay, if you've got a lot of bulk to come out, why not work smarter, not harder? I don't know, makes sense to me. But so, you know, we're getting quite a bit out here. She's got a really nice jacket. Her jacket sits nice and flat. You know, like there. Okay, we're getting out. So this is just to start. I don't, you know, finish it with the Coat King. Like I said, just removing bulk at this point. But look out, babe. Okay, good girl. Basil doesn't care to be groomed. She would much rather be holding down the couch. But she is pretty good on the table. She's cooperative. I think that is going to be about as much as I take off with the Coat King. And just a little bit more in some areas. She really does have a nice jacket. It sits really nice. For those of you that don't know what a jacket is, basically it's, look out, babe. It's this area, all this area. This is her jacket. And we want it to sit nice and flat. Okay? So that's about all we're going to do on the Coat King. So now we're going to move on to the head. As you can see, she's got a lot of hair on her head. This needs to come off. So I'm just going to start with my stripping knife. I've got a medium. medium tooth stripping knife that I'm going to start with. And I'm just going to start pulling that fluff. It's very fine fluff. It pulls out nice and easy. Okay. We want all that lighter, fluffier hair gone. And I'll use the medium one based on the condition of her head now. And then I'll go switch over to the fine. I probably could have even used the coarse, but you know, I just felt like using this one. It was basically the first thing I grabbed. So that's the using the stripping knife. The other thing I use a stone. Stones work really good. I like it. I like it because it does grip nice. It grabs the hair. I don't know. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a stone. I didn't. I'll go and get like charcoal bricks from the hardware store, and I cut it into pieces that fit in my hand. I don't know. It works. Works for me. So if you don't have to spend a lot of money, why? You know, you end up with the same results. So that's a little tip that I have. I'm sure there, you know, the stones on the market that are sold for grooming work amazing. And that's fine. I just, I don't know, maybe I'm cheap. But I'd rather have my money in my account. But there are tools out there that you should, you know, spend money on, especially if it's a tool of your trade. You know, it's important. So we're just getting this head in shape, getting all these fuzzies out, and then I'll take a boar bristle brush, soft bristles, and I'll just see, kind of brush it and see what we've got, what still has to come out. And you can see there's still stuff to come out here. So I just keep pulling. Again, this is the fine stripping knife that I'm using, just because I don't want to take too much out. I don't want to create a bald spot anywhere. And because if you take too much, create a bald spot, well, then you got to wait for it to grow in. So, and if you're showing, it's probably not good. So I'm just gonna finish up her head, and as you can see, like, there's still coming out lots of fluff, but it's looking a lot better. Hey, girl. Yeah. So we'll just finish her head up here, and then we'll move on to the next section. So there's her head. You can see it's nice and smooth. Looks good. We don't have any bald spots, and all that fluff is gone, and she is starting to look like the champion she is. So the ears, I clipper them. Depending on your dog, some people will use a number 10 setting. Some will do a 10 backwards, some will do a 15. A friend of mine, she'll even use a 30. I don't go too short because I personally don't like that really tight, really scalped look. So I use, on Basil, I use a 15 setting. I use my Arco blade on a 15 setting. And I always do her ears after her bath, okay? Just because she's got dirty hair, and I always try to clip her on clean hair. It's just going to make your blades last a lot longer. So I'm going to get her into the tub, and we're going to get her blow dried, and then we're going to do all her finishing work. So I just have one more thing before we get Basil into the tub. She gets these little wows of hair sticking out, okay? So I basically take my fine stripping knife and my stone, and I just lightly strip that down using both. We don't want anything sticking out. We want, like I said, the goal is to have a really nice flat jacket to show off the profile of this breed. They're a very elegant breed. They're quite majestic when they're running. Hi, I know. So yeah, so basically we're going to work on this a little bit more after the bath. But as you can see here, I'll just show you. Move her head. Okay, so you can see it's that sticky out piece is pretty much gone. It's pretty much flat, and we'll work on it more once she's out of the tub. So we just finished bathing Basil. What we have on her is it's a flattening jacket. It's a stretchy jacket, and what it does is after she's bathed, I put it on her, and it just helps flatten that jacket even more. A friend of mine, Irish breeder, Lorraine Strelioff, makes these, and they come in many different colors. She makes them, and I love it. They're very well made. This one is about 3 years old, and it still looks great. And I know it looks kind of weird, but it does a really good job. And I'll be contacting Lorraine because I'm gonna need a second one for my puppy. Anyway, we'll get Basil dry, get her back up on the table, and finish grooming her. Okay, so we got Basil all dried, and we're ready to do finishing work on her. So, with regards to ears, different groomers, breeders, some do ears different than others. Some will, when they're doing their ears, they'll leave the front part of the hair on the upper ear here. I take Basil's off just because of the way her ear set is. It looks like it's a nice cleaner look on her. Some dogs, some Irish, and it looks better to leave that on. So again, it's whatever you choose. I use the 15 setting on my Arco blade to do the top part of her ears. Some people will do a 10, some people will do a 30. Again, it's basically what you're comfortable with, what looks good, how thick the hair is. The nice thing about it is hair grows back. So you can, if you make a mistake or if you go a little short, you're just going to need some time for it to grow. So I'm just taking the top part off of her ear just to give her a nice clean look. I'm going to get in underneath also. Clean all that out. She's got quite a bit of hair in there. Like I said, it's probably close to 5 weeks since she's had a full groom, so she's definitely due. Okay. I like using the Arco on this area rather than an A5 blade, just because they're quieter. The cordless is always nice. If you're unsure what the difference is, this is the Arco blade, the Wall 5-in-1 blade. It has 5 settings. There's a lever on the bottom here, so it goes 9, 15, 30, or sorry, 9, 10, 15, 30, 40 setting. Whereas your A5 blade is, looks like that. Okay. So, just for finishing work, I like to use this. It's just, the clipper feels good in the hand. It just works better for me. But either will work. So, okay, so as you can see, there's her finished ear. Okay, it's nice, soft, it blends nice. We're gonna clean this up. Obviously, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bit of a line here with the hair on her head, so that will be tidied up later. Okay, so we'll do the other ear, and then we'll move on to what we do on the throat. Okay, so as you can see, both ears are done. It's a nice soft look. You can see where her ears set on her head. She has I think she's got a very sweet face. So now we're gonna do the side here by the ear down and the throat. Again, people do different things. I do the neck and the throat. I do a 10 setting. Some people do a lot tighter. I don't like to see the skin show. I don't like the scalped look. I like a softer look, but she can get away with it, just with the way her hair is. I know. I think she wants off the table. Okay, so we're gonna do. We did a 15 on the ears. We're gonna do a 10 on her face and neck. So we want to take down the neck, and we want to create a line on each side. And we don't want to go too low. We don't want to go too low because we don't want, there's a dip here, and we don't want there to be a noticeable dip. We want to come down the throat, and we want it to come out nicely into her chest, so it looks like she's got a really nice front, which she does, but what if we go down too low, it just takes away from that. So we are going to not go down as far, and we're going to create this neckline on her. I'm going to clean all this up. Get all this nice and cleaned up on her. I know some people will do like a backwards 10 or, you know, whatever. Again, everyone's got their thing that they like to do. You know, and they look great. Basically, we try to do anything we can to accentuate our dogs, bring out their best features, maybe hide some of the less desirable features. There's no perfect dog. And that's part of that's one of the great things about grooming is you have an opportunity to be a little bit more creative with your dog. So we're going to remove the whiskers on here. We're going to get rid of those. She's got little chunky jowls with hair. We want that nice and clean. And again, we just lightly go over the muzzle and just clean everything up so it's, you know, looks nice and kept. You get right in there and clean underneath. Okay. All right. So there you can see what I've done on the neck. I'm not going to go farther down than this. Just because I can always take more off with my thinners. I hope you guys are able to see that, what we did there. I don't know if that helps. So there's her neck, okay. So then I can go in and blend these sides with my thinners. And what we want is a really nice transition from the neck, the shortness here, out to where we're stripping. Want a nice transition. We don't want to see a line. We want to get rid of all this stuff. So that will be the next step. One thing I forgot to mention about these blades, these 5-in-1 blades, they can be sharpened. We do sharpen them here. This one that I'm using has been sharpened probably at least 2 times, and they still go. So something to keep in mind. The Arco 5-in-1 blades, the Wall 5-in-1 blades can be sharpened. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of tidy up here where we clip her around her ear. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. We're just gonna clean it up with some thinners. Just blend it in so we have a nice finished look. We don't want to see a line. We want to see a nice transition of hair. Okay. I'm using a set of fluffers. These ones here. They are available on our website. They are amazing. They literally leave 0 lines, and they remove a ton of hair at the same time. So if you're looking for something like that, we will we'll tag the product. All the products that I'm using on here will tag so that you can, if you're interested, you can have a peek. Okay, so now we got to deal with all this. Okay, you see that sticking out there? So I take my fluffers and I just kind of come down along and just take a lot of that bulk out. Okay, and all we're gonna do, we'll take our bristle brush, and all we want to do is just blend that in. That's all we're doing. just blending it. We want to create a really nice transition line. Okay, already you can see, you know, like it's already blending in nice. She must have been scratching at yourself there, or did one of the puppies gnaw on you? You got a bit of a spot there, but that's okay. She's a mama. Okay. So that's the blending of the neckline. And I'm just going to take my stone and just kind of fix up a little bit of the area here where there's a little bit more that can come out. I'm going to take my fine stripping knife. I try to do the bulk of my stripping before the tub. It's just easier to work. I think it's easier to work with dirty hair when you're stripping. Take the bulk out before the tub. So, there. Okay. So there, we've got a nice line there. Nice neckline. Nice transition. And just tidy it up a little bit more. Pieces that are poking out, we just clean them up. And there. Now, the bottom of the neck here, I'm just gonna, again, just touch up. I'm not gonna take too much off because I don't want to have that line where it starts to dip inward. I want a nice transition into her chest. She's got a beautiful, beautiful fore chest, and we want to make sure that we see it. Okay. Okay. Flip that. There you go, girl. So that one side is pretty much done. We just have maybe a little, it depends on how picky you want to get. I mean, I like things nice and tight here. Mind you, she's not going into the show ring, but I still like my dog to look good. Okay. And I pick a lot at her, but she always looks good when she goes in the ring. She's a great dog. I love this dog. She is everything to me. Okay, so that is basically the neckline. I don't know, hopefully you guys can see that, but you can see already the transition that's happening. We've got the stripped head, we cleaned up the muzzle, we put the neckline in, we did the ears, cleaned up on the top of the ear. She looks like already $1 million. Okay, again, this side of the neck. I don't know if you can see that, see all that sticking out. We're going to blend that in. We are going to do a little bit more stripping there, but I just want to get this blended so that we have a little bit of less bulk to deal with. Okay, so now what I'm going to work on is I'm going to clean out the pads of her feet. Again, I'm using my Wall 5-in-1 blade, and I usually put it on the 30 setting to clean out the pads. And I'm just thinking I might have to get my other camera. Okay, I just switched cameras here. I'm gonna do the pads of her feet I'm using, again, my Wall Arco 5-in-1. I'm going to go on the other side. I am using it on the 30 setting to clean out all this junk underneath. Okay, so she's, again, quite overgrown from having babies. So we are going to clean all of this up. So here, we're just cleaning the feet out of all the extra hair. I call her feet Grinch feet when they get to this point. They get really thick, and just clean it up. So we're using the 30 setting on the 5-in-1 blade. Just going in and cleaning up all this excess hair. She doesn't care to have her feet handled, but she's pretty good. She's used to it. She just doesn't like it, which is understandable, I guess. Okay, so again, just clean it all out. Okay, and there. We'll finish the rest of the foot. We'll scissor out. Okay, so as you can see, now we have feet to deal with. So, sorry, bear with me. Okay, I'm gonna grab my curved scissors. These are an even set curved scissor, which is nice. They can easily flip them. So going around one side of the foot and right, and then if you want to come back this way, you can flip them. So they're pretty handy. Again, we can I'll post these online as well. And the fluffers is what I'm going to be using today to help clean up the feet. You can use thinners, you can use chunkers. You know, it's whatever you got. You don't have to run out and spend a ton of money on stuff. So basically, what we're going to do first is we're going to set the foot. We're going to have her stand, and we're just going to go around the foot, trim the excess hair off. Okay. What we want is, we want a really nice, clean foot. We'll go underneath, brush up the hair, anything sticking out, we just go in and trim it up. So now we're ready to deal with the top of the foot. So I take my slicker brush and I just fluff up the hair. If you're not comfortable using your scissors, feel free to use your thinners. They are more forgiving. With scissors, once the hair's cut, it's gone. Thinners will take out less hair. So basically all I'm doing is just going and following with my curved scissors along the foot. Okay? Still doesn't look pretty, but we're not done. I still got some finishing to do here. Basically, I use my curved scissors because I want to try and get as much bulk out as possible. I don't want to be spending a lot of time. So now, come here. Now that that's done, now I'll go with my fluffers, and I'm going to clean all those little willy-nilly hairs that are sticking out. And as you can see, she doesn't care to have her feet handled, but she doesn't have a choice. So we'll get all this cleaned up. Okay. Irish setters' feet, they grow a lot of hair, and they're not like some other breeds where they have a beautifully manicured foot. Hence why I call it Grinch feet, because the hair just, once it gets growing, it's just, it's like crazy hair. But, you know, we just try to make the foot as nice as possible. What helps with having a nice foot is making sure that you are regularly trimming their nails. This will play a big factor. I'm going to do another video on nail care. That'll be on another feed, but it'll give you an idea. So I take my scissors, the back of the foot. I want her to be standing up on her feet, and I want it to appear that she is. So the back portion, I want that hair trimmed up. I know it's not easiest to see. Let's move you over here. Good girl. Okay, maybe that. No, over there. So all this, no, over there. Over there. Good girl. So this hair here, we're going to trim that. Basically, we want it to be a nice curve coming down. We don't want to take too much off though. Okay? So we're just basically going to trim down the back. We're going to bring it into the back hock of that foot. And we just want a nice soft curve, nothing extreme. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. She's not going into the show ring anytime soon. We're trying to get hair to grow back. So there, I don't know if you can see. We can trim a little bit of this to make it look softer, but I'll give you an idea of how we want that appearance to look like she's up on her feet. We want her up on her toes. We don't want them back on their hind pad on their foot. We want them sitting up nice. So that's how I do feet. So that looks all right. So a little touch up there. Okay. So I'm going to get the rest of the feet done, and then we'll lightly touch on the tail, and then this girl's pretty much almost done. Okay, so we're getting to the end here. As you can see, we've trimmed up the back hocks. We want a really nice curve. So again, it looks like she's up on the front of her feet. They turned out not bad. I probably could have taken more off, but she's getting tired. Okay, last thing, tail. So what I like to do is I like to clean all this up under here and give the tail a little bit of dimension. This obviously could be stripped out more. I probably will strip out a little bit more here. I'll use one of my knives and possibly a little bit of stonework, but she's getting a little tired being on the table. So basically we're just gonna clean up the tail, and this is all I do. I take my fluffers and just come in, clean all this up. she's been having babies climbing all over her the last few weeks, so it's kind of nice that I think she actually enjoys being tidied up a bit. So you're going to notice that she's missing a lot of hair on the back end. That was all trimmed off because babies were coming. So we're going to slowly grow that back. Hopefully it comes sooner than later, which would be nice. Okay, so there's the tail, the top of the tail. And I'll just take my stripping knife and we'll just pull a little bit more out. Okay. There. Whoops. Dropping my stripping knife. At least it wasn't my scissors. Okay. Just touch this up. All right, so lastly, the tail. So we don't want the hair on the tail to get too long. The tip of her tail is right here. Okay, so this is all excess. So what I like to do is I like to trim right just about at the tip. You don't want to have too much on the end of the tail because then it's just harder for them. It doesn't hold up as nice when they're running, and just looks nicer kept. So I take my scissors, trim the edge, make a nice even cut, and then I comb out the hair. Now she's lost quite a bit of hair from puppies, but that's okay. We've got time on our side. We're going to get this hair growing back, and with cleaning it up and trimming it like this, it's going to grow faster and it's going to grow thicker. So yeah, that's the tail. I know, Baze. She's tired. So that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions at all, feel free to message me, email me at sherry@leadingedgesharpening.ca, whether it's questions about grooming the Irish, product, tools. You know, I'll try to answer whatever questions I can, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little session.